You know what the oldest people in the world all have in common? It's not a special pill. It's not an expensive supplement. It's not some secret that only doctors know about. It's something far simpler. And it's sitting in your grocery store right now for just a few dollars. Today, I'm sharing 3 foods that researchers keep coming back to again and again when they study the people who live the longest, healthiest lives on Earth. Just 3 foods. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly what they are, why they work, and how to start eating more of them today. Even if you have a small appetite, even if you live alone, and even if cooking feels like more work than it used to. The 3 foods are beans, extra virgin olive oil, and the leafy green vegetables. Beans show up in every blue zone, those remarkable places in the world where living past 90 and 100 is genuinely common. They're packed with fiber, protein, and nutrients that keep your blood sugar steady, protect your heart, and feed the good bacteria in your gut. Extra virgin olive oil, and those exact words on the label matter, is rich in antioxidants and natural compounds that calm inflammation quietly inside your body. Large studies have shown that people who use it regularly have significantly lower rates of heart disease, stroke, and memory decline. And the leafy greens like spinach, kale, and collards deliver vitamin K, folate, and eye-protecting nutrients that research links directly to slower cognitive aging. One study found that people who ate just 1 to 2 servings of greens daily functioned like people 11 years younger on memory and thinking tests. 11 years? From food you can buy for a few dollars. My name is Grace Wong. I'm 91 years old. I still live independently, and I still cook my own meals. And these 3 foods have been part of my daily life for years. I'm not sharing this to impress you. I'm sharing it because I want the same for you. You don't need to change everything at once. Just pick one of these 3 foods and add it to a few meals this week. Beans in your soup, a drizzle of olive oil on your toast, a handful of frozen spinach stirred into your dinner. Small steps done consistently are what add up to a longer and healthier life, and you are absolutely worth taking that step. Food number 1, beans. I know, I can already hear some of you saying, beans? Grace, really? Yes, really? Beans. I grew up eating beans. My mother made them. My grandmother made them. And for a long time, when I was younger and trying to be modern, I stopped eating them as much. I thought they were old-fashioned. I thought they were poor people food. And that was one of the biggest mistakes I ever made with my health. Because here's what I didn't know then that I know now. Beans are one of the most studied longevity foods on the entire planet. Scientists who research what's called the blue zones, those are the places in the world where people regularly live past 90 and 100, found that across every single one of those regions, whether it's Sardinia in Italy, Okinawa in Japan, or Loma Linda in California, beans were a daily staple, every single day, at least half a cup, sometimes more. So what makes beans so special? A few things. First, they are loaded with fiber. Now, fiber is one of those words people hear all the time but don't always fully understand. Here's what it actually does. Fiber moves slowly through your digestive system. And as it moves, it does several wonderful things. It feeds the good bacteria living in your gut. And we are learning more every year about how important those good bacteria are for everything from your immune system to your mood. Fiber also helps keep your blood sugar steady so you don't get those sharp spikes and crashes that leave you feeling tired and hungry an hour after eating. And it helps keep your cholesterol in a healthy range. Second, beans are full of protein. This matters more as we get older than most people realize. After about age 60, our bodies start losing muscle mass faster than they did when we were younger. It's not your fault. It's just biology. And one of the best ways to slow that process down is to make sure you're getting enough protein every single day. Beans give you that protein without a lot of saturated fat. And saturated fat is the kind of fat that can put extra strain on your heart over time. Third, and this one surprised me when I first learned it, beans are very filling. Because they digest slowly, you feel satisfied longer after eating them. For those of us who struggle with keeping our appetite or our weight in a healthy range, that slow, steady fullness is a real gift. Now, I know some of you are thinking about gas. Let's just talk about it plainly because we're friends here. Yes, beans can cause some digestive discomfort, especially if you're not used to eating them. But there are easy ways to reduce that. If you're using canned beans, rinse them very well under cold water before eating. That removes a lot of what causes the problem. If you're cooking dried beans from scratch, soak them overnight. Then pour off that soaking water before you cook them in fresh water. And start slow, even just 2 or 3 tablespoons a day to begin with. Give your body time to adjust. And most people find the discomfort fades within a few weeks. What kinds of beans? Any kind you enjoy. Black beans, kidney beans, chickpeas, which some people call garbanzo beans, pinto beans, lentils, navy beans. All of them count. Lentils are especially easy because they cook quickly and you don't need to soak them overnight. Here's the simplest way I know to get started. Open a can of chickpeas, rinse them well, and add a handful to whatever salad, soup, or bowl of vegetables you're already making. You don't need a special recipe. You don't need to change your whole routine. Just add them to what you're already eating. That's your one small step for today. Add beans to one meal. And speaking of things we add to our food, that leads me right into our second food. And this one might surprise you even more than the beans did. Food number 2, extra virgin olive oil. Now some of you may be thinking, Grace, wait, fat is bad for you. I was told for decades to stay away from fat. I understand completely. We all grew up hearing it. Low fat this, fat free that. I fell for it myself. For years, I used margarine instead of butter and thought I was being so smart about my health. Turns out I wasn't doing myself any favors because not all fats are the same. And extra virgin olive oil is about as different from margarine as a garden is different from a parking lot. Let me tell you about a large, careful study done in Spain called the Predimate study. Researchers followed thousands of people over several years, and what they found was striking. The people who ate extra virgin olive oil regularly had significantly lower rates of heart disease, stroke, and even cognitive decline. That means memory and thinking problems, compared to people who followed a low-fat diet instead. Significantly lower, not a little bit lower, significantly. That is a powerful word coming from scientists. Why does olive oil do this? It comes down to several things working together. Olive oil contains a compound called oleocanthal. And don't worry about remembering that word. I just want you to know what it does. This compound has anti-inflammatory properties. Now, inflammation is something your doctor may have mentioned to you. Chronic inflammation, that's low-grade, ongoing inflammation happening quietly inside the body, is connected to heart disease, arthritis, memory decline, and many other conditions that become more common as we age. Olive oil helps calm that inflammation, gently, naturally, every time you use it. Olive oil is also rich in what's called monounsaturated fat. That's the kind of fat that your heart genuinely loves. It helps keep your good cholesterol, called HDL, at a healthy level, while helping bring down the harmful LDL cholesterol. Think of good cholesterol as a cleaning crew that moves through your bloodstream. Olive oil helps keep that cleaning crew strong and active. And there's something else. Extra virgin olive oil, the real good quality kind, is full of antioxidants. Now, antioxidants protect your cells from damage. Every single day, your cells face wear and tear from stress, from pollution, from the normal process of living. Antioxidants act like a shield. They slow down that damage. And when your cells stay healthier longer, so do you. I want to be specific about something important. When I say extra virgin olive oil, I mean those exact words. Not just olive oil, not light olive oil, extra virgin. That label means the oil was made by pressing olives without high heat or harsh chemicals, which keeps all those beneficial compounds fully intact. Regular olive oil has been refined in ways that remove much of what makes it so valuable. So at the store, look for those two words, extra virgin. How much should you use? Research points to about 2 to 4 tablespoons a day as a meaningful amount. That might sound like a lot, but it adds up easily throughout the day without you even thinking about it. A drizzle over your morning eggs, a little stirred into your soup at lunch, a pour over your roasted vegetables at dinner. It gets there fast. And here's something I love that's so simple, it almost feels too easy. I take a slice of good bread, sourdough or whole grain, and instead of spreading butter on it, I pour a small amount of extra virgin olive oil onto a little plate. Add a pinch of salt and dip the bread in it. It is delicious. It feels indulgent. And it is genuinely good for you. How often does that happen in life? Let me pause here for just a moment and check in with you directly. How are you doing? Sometimes these videos can feel like a lot of information coming in at once. So I want to say this clearly. You do not have to do everything at once. If you take away just one thing from this video, just one, that is a real and meaningful step forward. You're already doing something good for yourself by being here. All right, let's keep going, because our third food is one I think will make you smile. Food number 3, leafy green vegetables. When I say leafy greens, I mean things like spinach, kale, Swiss chard, collard greens, arugula, romaine lettuce, and even regular cabbage. These humble, inexpensive plants have been eaten by people all over the world for thousands of years, and modern science is now confirming what our grandmothers already seemed to know instinctively. There was a study done at Rush University Medical Center, a very respected research hospital in Chicago, that followed older adults and carefully tracked what they ate over many years. The people who ate just 1 to 2 servings of leafy green vegetables every day showed significantly slower cognitive decline than the people who ate few or no greens. The researchers said that on cognitive tests, the people who ate the most greens functioned like people who were 11 years younger than their actual age. 11 years younger from eating greens. I read that and I went straight to the kitchen to make a salad. I am not joking. So what's in these leaves that makes such a difference? Several things working together. First, leafy greens are very high in vitamin K. This vitamin doesn't get talked about as much as vitamin D or vitamin C, but it matters enormously as we get older. It plays a strong role in bone health, which becomes more important with every year that passes. And it's also connected to healthy brain function. Leafy greens are one of the very best food sources of vitamin K you'll find anywhere. Second, they contain folate, which is a B vitamin. Folate helps your body make new cells and keeps your nervous system working properly. As we age, our ability to absorb certain vitamins from food can decrease. So, getting plenty of folate through actual food, rather than relying only on supplements, is especially helpful. Third, leafy greens are rich in lutein and zeaxanthin. Those are the nutrients your eyes need to stay healthy over the long term. Age-related macular degeneration, that's the kind of vision loss that becomes more common after 60, is one of the leading causes of serious vision problems in older adults. Research shows that lutein and zeaxanthin can help protect against it. Spinach and kale are 2 of the very best sources of both. And fourth, as if all of that weren't enough, leafy greens are high in water content and very low in calories. That means you can eat a generous amount of them without worrying too much about portions. They fill you up. They help keep you hydrated. and they deliver a wide range of vitamins and minerals for almost no cost at all in terms of calories. Now, I want to mention something important. Some of you may have been told to be careful with leafy greens because of a blood-thinning medication. If you take a medication called warfarin, sometimes sold under the name Coumadin, vitamin K can affect how that medication works in your body. Please talk to your doctor before significantly increasing your greens if you're on that medication. You may not need to avoid greens altogether, but your doctor needs to know what's changing. That conversation matters. For everyone else, let's talk about how to get more greens into your life without making things complicated. First, fresh is lovely, but frozen is just as good nutritionally. I really want you to hear that. Frozen spinach, frozen kale. They're picked and frozen at peak freshness, so the nutrients are very well preserved. They are often less expensive than fresh. They last for months in your freezer, and you can add a handful to soups, stews, pasta sauce, scrambled eggs, or a smoothie without any chopping or washing required. I always have frozen spinach in my freezer. It goes into almost everything I make. You'd be surprised how often you can sneak a handful in without even tasting it. Second, don't feel like you have to eat a big cold salad every day if that doesn't appeal to you. A big salad isn't enjoyable for everyone, especially in cooler weather. Cooked greens are just as healthy. Sautéed with a little of that olive oil we just talked about, with maybe a clove of garlic, absolutely delicious. And your body actually absorbs some of the nutrients even more easily when the greens are lightly cooked. Third, if chewing is a challenge, and there's no shame in saying so, our teeth and gums change as we get older, blending spinach into a smoothie with a banana and some milk or yogurt is a wonderful solution. You get all the nutrition without any chewing at all. You barely taste the spinach. The banana covers it almost completely. Your one small step for greens. Tonight, add one big handful of spinach to something you're already cooking. That's it. Nothing more complicated than that. Now, I want to keep a promise I made to you right at the start of this video. I told you I'd share the one thing most people over 70 get completely wrong when they're trying to eat healthier. And I keep my promises. Here it is. The biggest mistake I see, and I made it myself, so I say this with love, is trying to change too much at once. We hear about a healthy diet, and we think, all right, I need to completely overhaul everything I eat. I have to stop eating everything I love, start eating things I've never heard of, and be perfect every single day from now on. And then, because that's exhausting and unsustainable and honestly quite miserable, we give up within 2 or 3 weeks and go right back to exactly what we were doing before. That cycle doesn't help anyone, and it's not your fault for falling into it. That's just how most diet advice is presented to us. All or nothing, perfect or failure, complete transformation or don't bother. But the research on long-lived people tells a very different story. The people in the blue zones, those communities where living to 90 and 100 is genuinely common, didn't follow strict, complicated diets. They ate simply. They ate the same affordable, wholesome foods over and over again. They enjoyed their meals. They ate with other people when they could. And they never agonized over every single bite. One small step at a time is not the lazy way to do this. It is the right way, the way that actually works. So here's what I want you to do. Pick just one of these 3 foods, just one, and commit to adding it to your meals 3 or 4 times this week. Not every meal, not even every day to start, just a few times. See how it goes. See how you feel. And once that feels easy and natural, and it will feel natural sooner than you think, then you can add a second food. Small changes done consistently over months and years. That's what adds up to a longer, healthier, more independent life. That is not a dramatic promise. That is simply the truth. Before we wrap up, I want to take just a moment for something I think matters deeply, and it doesn't get talked about enough in these kinds of videos. Eating well when you're older can be complicated in ways that have nothing to do with willpower or knowledge. If you live alone, cooking for one person can feel like a lot of effort for not much reward. If your appetite has decreased, and that happens to many of us quite naturally with age, eating enough of anything can feel like a chore rather than a pleasure. If your budget is tight, every single grocery purchase has to count. And if you're managing health conditions, you may be navigating multiple dietary restrictions at once and feeling like there's almost nothing left you're allowed to eat freely. These are real challenges, not excuses, real challenges. And if any of them apply to you, I want you to know you're not alone and there are still things you can do. Here's what I'll say about these 3 foods specifically. Beans, olive oil, and leafy greens are among the most affordable foods you can buy. A can of beans costs less than $1 in most places. A bag of frozen spinach is a few dollars and lasts for weeks. A bottle of good extra virgin olive oil, used a little at a time, goes a long way. These are not luxury foods. They are everyday foods for everyday people. And if cooking feels like too much on a given day, you don't have to cook. Open a can of chickpeas and eat them cold over whatever you're already having. Drizzle olive oil over toast. Thaw some frozen spinach in the microwave and serve it with a little salt and olive oil alongside your meal. These are not elaborate recipes. They're just food, and that is absolutely enough. If you're really struggling with appetite, with energy, with figuring out what's safe given your particular health conditions, please ask your doctor for a referral to a registered dietitian. A registered dietitian is a trained food and nutrition expert who can work specifically with your health situation and give you guidance that's truly tailored to you. That one conversation could make a real difference. It's worth asking about. A quick recap, so you leave here feeling ready. Let's pull everything together, simple and clear. Food. Number 1, beans. Aim for at least half a cup most days. Rinse your canned beans thoroughly. Add them to soups, salads, rice, or eggs, anywhere they fit naturally into what you're already eating. Lentils are a quick, easy option if you want to cook from scratch without a lot of fuss. Food. Number 2, extra virgin olive oil. Look for those exact words on the label. Use it generously throughout your day. A drizzle here, a pour there, aiming for around 2 to 4 tablespoons total. Use it in place of butter or margarine wherever you comfortably can. Food. Number 3, leafy greens. Spinach, kale, collards, romaine, Swiss chard. Any of them count equally. Fresh or frozen, both are nutritious. Cook them, blend them, eat them raw, whatever suits you and your situation best. Aim for at least 1 good handful every single day. And the mistake to avoid, don't try to change everything at once. Pick one of these 3 foods. Add it consistently. Let it feel normal. Then, when you're ready, add another. Small steps, steady progress. That's what actually lasts. People sometimes ask me whether I'm afraid of getting older, and I tell them the honest truth. Not really. Every year, I learn something new about how to take better care of this remarkable body I've been given. Every year, I have more appreciation for the simple things. A good warm meal, a quiet morning, a conversation with someone who means something to me. You watching this video today, taking the time to learn and to invest in your own health. That tells me a great deal about who you are. You're someone who hasn't given up. You're someone who knows it is never too late to do a little better than yesterday. And I truly believe that spirit, that determination to keep going, is just as powerful as anything you put on your plate. You can do this. There is no rush. You don't have to be perfect. Just start somewhere and then keep going. If this video helped you today, would you do me one small favor? Leave a comment below and tell me which of these 3 foods you're going to try adding first. Is it the beans, the olive oil, or the leafy greens? I read every single comment, and I genuinely mean that. Hearing from you truly brightens my day more than you know. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I'd love it if you would. I post new videos every week with honest, practical advice on staying healthy, strong, and independent as we grow older together. Press that subscribe button so you never miss one. Next week, I'm going to share something that has made a bigger difference in my energy and my strength than almost anything else I've done in the past 10 years. It has nothing to do with food. It doesn't cost a single cent. And I think it's going to surprise you in the best possible way. I cannot wait to share it with you. Until then, take good care of yourself. Take it one small step at a time. And always remember, you are absolutely worth taking care of. I'll see you next week.